Hey guys, Pastor Channer here, coming at you with another Logos video. In this video, I want to talk about some of the recent controversy that has come up on the Logos forums. This came about with Faithlife's announcement that they intend to go to a primarily subscription-based model for the usage of new Logos features in the next generation of Logos going forward. In this video, I just want to explain to you what is going on, what is actually happening, and then I also want to talk a little bit about my own opinion on the matter so that you can maybe decide how you want to approach Logos Bible software going forward. Okay, well, what exactly is going on? What happened? Well, if you don't know, what Logos has chosen to do is split off feature sets from books when it comes to iterating on the Logos Bible software program. I actually think this is a really good thing to just split these things up. So often I was always asked questions when people were trying to buy new base packages about whether or not they were going to be able to use certain features. People would buy the bronze base package thinking that they were going to be able to use the all new features and they couldn't use them. I love that they're splitting these out. It makes it so much easier for users who are trying to purchase to understand what they're getting. That said, the other half of this announcement is, I think, where most of the controversy lies. And this has to do with the fact that not only are they separating off the features, but the features are now going to be primarily a subscription-based model. That's a big difference compared to what we had in the past, where you could just purchase the full feature set outright. Now, they haven't said that they're going to only go with this approach. Let me read a quote from Mark Barnes so you can hear it from the horse's mouth. In the next version of Logos, we're going to be leaning heavily into subscription for these 5 reasons. But we don't yet know whether or not we're going to lean into subscription exclusively. That's a quote. So it's very important for us to understand why they are doing this. Now, in this video, I don't want to go into those 5 reasons. Seems like they have decent business sense for doing this as far as I'm concerned, and it has to revolve mostly around operating costs and trying to maintain cloud servers and AI tool access, all that kind of stuff. However, I do in this video want to clarify a few things about what this means for your Logos purchases up until now and what you might want to do going forward. Guys, subscription fatigue is real. There are a lot of people who have said that they're downsizing their subscriptions. They had way too many subscriptions. I sat down with my wife at the beginning of the year. We canceled probably a dozen subscriptions we had that we weren't getting value out of, that we weren't using regularly. On the flip side, however, there are many Logos users who I think misunderstand what Logos is doing with this new subscription model. Many people think that with the new subscription model, everything they purchased in the past is useless, it's a waste, they no longer own their content. None of that is the case. Mark Barnes says subscriptions aren't required to maintain existing content. They're for those who want access to new and improved features. With Logos, your constant investment is always safe, and you'll always be able to access it for free. The subscription benefits listed above for features don't apply to books in the same way, so we don't foresee a time when we'll stop selling perpetual licenses to books. Phil Gons came into the thread later and doubled down on this. He says, I ask you to trust us based upon our 32-year track record. Logos has always committed to the idea that if you purchase outright, you own your books, you'll always have access to them, you'll always have access to the features you've purchased, and those things aren't going to be taken away. Now, I have heard that some people say that these are mere talking points from Logos, but they actually haven't always held up to that standard. Many quote the Libronics days, when Logos shifted over to a new platform, and to this day, many say that many features don't work the same as they did back then. Now, I wasn't around during Libronics, so I can't speak to that. However, it does seem to me that the specific frustrations of individual customers are often related to slight tweaks or adjustments to the features, not the core of the program or the software. If that's the case, it seems to me that Logos has not violated what it is promising here. Okay, a few features don't work the same, but in reality, you still have access to your books, you still have access to the program, and you probably have access to this day to a whole lot more. Logos has proven themselves to me over the past decade plus of me being a customer with them, and I trust them that they are going to hold true to their promise at this point. Now, some people have said that Logos does not have a good track record when it comes to subscription-based models, and I largely agree with this. I was around when we had Logos Now, and then when it changed into Logos Connect, and a bunch of people were very upset because it looked like they were getting less features for more money, and then Logos walked it back and did something different. Not only that, my church, I convinced to subscribe to Faithlife Equip, and we invested in that business model for a couple years as well. Worked great while we had it. Turned out it wasn't sustainable for them. They canceled a lot of stuff. Our website hasn't worked the same since. It's been a real frustration. So I understand those users who would say, maybe I'm not objected to a subscription model in and of itself, but I don't like how Faithlife has executed on this in the past. I don't have a lot of confidence they're going to do it well going forward. However, I view this announcement in this very thread an attempt for Faithlife to commit to doing better going forward. They want to make sure they get all their ducks in a row before they pull the trigger on this thing. Additionally, some have asked the question of what this means for Faithlife Connect. Logos does not intend, at least as of now, to continue Faithlife Connect into the foreseeable future. And eventually, I think they want to migrate everybody over into Logos Pro if they can. Faithlife currently has many different subscriptions. It's got to be a headache to keep them all sorted and all together. I think they want to streamline them and bring them down into one major subscription. With all that background information, let me tell you about Logos Pro and tell you about my final thoughts on the product. First off, it's offering 4 new features and 400 plus book library. Now, a lot of users were very frustrated with this 400 plus book library because they said, essentially, I have the majority of the books that are on offer. And that's absolutely true. If you've been a Logos user for a long time, this 400 book library probably isn't going to be very appealing. Not only that, you're paying the same price for the subscription that many brand new users are paying, and yet you're getting less additional books because there's no dynamic pricing built in. However, that issue doesn't bother me very much. I'm not seeing the value in the library that's being offered. Instead, I'm seeing the value in the features that are being offered. In this sense, I think Logos was stuck between a rock and a hard place. If they're trying to bring on a new user into the software, into the program, I mean, you need to start with some sort of library in order to make progress. And if you're subscribing, you kind of want to get a one-size-fits-all package so you can get up and running very quickly. For those users, a 400-book library makes a ton of sense, and I don't think they were going to invest heavily financially into the product to begin with in order to get the library they need to be successful. So the books weren't very appealing to me, but at the end of the day, that's not where I see the value for Logos Pro. I see it all bound up in the features. If Logos was to dynamically price off the books of this library, I think it'd be a negligible cost. I wouldn't know the difference in my monthly subscription. And frankly, Logos has stated that they're kind of just throwing in this library as a bit of a freebie, that their pricing is much more in line with the features themselves. That makes sense to me. As for the 4 new features, I want to do a first impressions video on that right here on the channel, so look out for that soon. My final thoughts on this change are this. Logos has said they're looking for feedback. I quoted Mark Barnes, who said they are not necessarily leaning into a subscription model exclusively, so make your voice heard. Tell Logos that you want to be able to purchase your features outright and not subscribe in the future if that is your desire. Bottom line is they have not entirely made their mind up on this topic. I appreciate that, and I want to make my voice heard as well. So what is my personal opinion on the matter? I would like a no subscription option. I just personally like owning my things. I think Faithlife has done a great job up until now of supporting that fact, the fact that I own my digital library and it belongs to me. I like keeping my monthly subscriptions down low. I don't like continuing to pay into those things. Leaky bucket with a lot of holes, okay? However, I do want you guys to know that I would be open to paying a subscription if I thought the features were worth it, valuable, and they made a big difference in my life on a weekly basis as a pastor and as a Christian. Well, thank you so much for watching this video on the Pastor Tanner YouTube channel. Please give us a like and subscribe. Consider supporting us on Patreon so that we can continue to give you great content. Take care. God bless. Bye.